reality. What are the other forms of that we can use to include youth and women in governance? Are we telling our young people that the only good job, the only luxurious job that you can do is to become a politician? No, I was an aspirant myself. Of course, the question also is what inspired me. But what is this inspiring people to be on the ballot, and what else? What other forms of involvement women and youth in governance can we, look at?
Good morning, ladies and gents. My name is Kate Kodiaga. Though most people call me Kate with a K, it's a small detail that I like to emphasize on.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Honorable Kiraitu Murungi from CMD. And the Joneses, I have them calling you the professor of politics. Karibu sana. Let's go on.
Yes. So, kindly allow me to set the stage for today's dialogue. I'd like to break down the etymology of democracy. Democracy originates from ancient Greece, from two Greek words, kratos and demos meaning the people, and kratos meaning power or rule. Essentially, democracy means rule by the people. In its earliest form, democracy in Greece involved all males, citizens gathering in public spaces called the agoras to actively participate in governance and decision making. However, it's important to note that in this early system, it excluded women, slaves, and non-citizens from participating. In contemporary times today, democracy has evolved to refer to a governance system where power ultimately resides with the people. This can be exercised either directly through mechanisms like referendums or indirectly through elected representatives. So when we look at take a closer look at some of these critical features of democracy that remain relevant across time and space, we have popular sovereignty, political equality, majority rule, minority rights, rule of law. And understanding this foundation is critical as we examine how democratic governance intersects with civic participation and the inclusion of marginalized groups such as women and youth. Women and youth are often underrepresented in leadership and decision making because of cultural norms, and stereotypes reinforce that the idea that leadership is reserved for older, often male elites, and for the youth, a lack of resources and institutional support exacerbates the problem. And when it comes to governance, like you asked, including women and youth isn't just noble, it's very essential. And why it matters is, allow me to paint a picture of decision making within a family. If one person, let's say the father, makes all decisions, the outcomes are limited to his perspective, right? But when children or women are part of the conversation, the diversity of viewpoints leads to more balanced and inclusive solutions. The same principle applies to governance. Women and youth bring diverse perspectives, creativity and innovation, especially in addressing modern challenges like climate change and governance reform, equity and fairness, and accountability. Yet systemic barriers exist, like cultural norms, economic exclusion, limited education, and a lack of mentorship. And overcoming these challenges require targeted interventions like education, economic empowerment, policy reforms, and mentorship programs. So why inclusion matters is, as it brings diverse perspectives to the table, women and youth have unique experiences that can highlight issues that are often overlooked even in governance. The involvement ensures broader, more inclusive solutions to societal challenges. It also helps to foster a sense of ownership and belonging, and when people feel heard and included, it creates a more sense of equity, fairness, and justice. This often helps to correct historical imbalances and creates a more harmonious society. It also helps the youth to bring innovation and creativity, because we the youth are the future, and we are full of energy, fresh ideas, and our adaptability are quite essential in tackling challenges like governance, reforms, and climate change. So when we include women and youth in decision making, we're not just giving them a seat at the table, we're building a more robust, progressive, and equitable society. And the voices matter, the perspectives enrich the process, and the participation leads to a great and better outcomes for everyone. So as we reflect on the dialogue today, I'd love us to draw inspiration from ancient Greece, not because it was perfect, but because it started on the journey we're still on. The agoras of ancient Greece remind us of the importance of participation. Back then it was about gathering in public spaces. Today it's about ensuring that every voice is heard, whether in government halls, at community meetings, or online platforms. Like the Greeks who laid the foundation for us, we too are architects of democracy. And by fostering inclusion, protecting civic space, and working together, we can build governance systems that can truly reflect the will of the people. So let's commit to that vision, and as we dive deeper into this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you. We allowed you some little bit more time from the university. You have done some very good background. Thank you very much for that. But now we just want to ask the final question to all of you, all of our panelists. So the CSOs are very active. Now we have talked about youth and women. The CSOs are, of course, very active. But how can CSOs protect and reclaim civic space in an increasingly restrictive political environment across Africa? Do you feel that the political environment is continuously becoming restrictive? Are the CSO civil societies feeling that their hands are tied? And just to combine with that, because of time, you can also tell us how the civil societies can enhance closer collaborations with governments. Instead of viewing them as restrictive, as our enemies, as our own barring us, how can they be able to enhance closer collaboration with the government to foster democratic governance and development? And we'll allow everyone to have just a minute or a minute and a half, because there are two questions. Just combine them. Tell us how the CSOs can be able to reclaim the space, and as well, are the governments becoming restrictive? And finally, how can the collaboration be increased? Thank you.
Yeah, so I think to me, I would suggest proper use of social media. Social media has become a very strong tool in the recent, in the current generation.
Performance with the government that Professor has mentioned. In real sense, I've participated in several policies, including National Land Alliance Commission formation as a youth representative by then. And you will find that the information that coming from community or civil society to the government can lead to, drastical doing. For us as Balozi Amani, we are really focusing in grassroots in the grassroots implementation. Like on Sunday, we did something small, a simple thing. On a post on WhatsApp status, I asked my friends to buy a lunch for a 3 household, and within few minutes, the power of social media, we are able to raise a food stuff for 3 households. That, you see, this is power of the social media that we have, and the civil society, because if the people are not fed by the government, us as civil society, we are coming in to fill in the gap that the government is not doing. Lastly, the challenge with the government is, as the civil society, if you look at the projects that are there, if for instance we work with the government in terms of implementing peace, because we are focusing on peace building, you will find that the minister will write a report and they will reject the project of civil society and implement and write their report as the people who led the implementation of this project. So that can also hinder the civil society again to work with the government in implementing projects. Thank you.
Okay, I hope Prof has gotten something out of it. A question, the last question there. And as we ask the questions, let's also brag about our event. #BanQDemocracy. Look for Youth Cafe online and also share it.